months ago, I said that I would share my thoughts on all things skinny epidemic and the way that we talk about bodies and all of the things. And I've shared some things, but I think I'm ready to share something a little bit more long form. And this is partially inspired by my friend Laura. At the end of the day, before you make a comment on someone's body, I want you to think about something that I have started to think about as a social media user who happens to also be a clinical therapist. How would I feel if I were in a session with someone and they were telling me how they were on Instagram and they saw this random person that they don't know, who they've never met, talking about what problems they think they may have, speaking in definitive statements, speaking as if they absolutely know what's going on with that person, talking about what they think their treatment plan should be, talking about what they think they should or should not be doing, saying that literally every single thing that they do is impressionable upon all the young women in the world. And how would I have to sit with that? What emotions am I going to feel as somebody who's pouring their soul out to me? And what would I think about the people that they're talking about? Because at the end of the day, I've seen time and time again my fellow clinicians as well as folks that are within my community, and I completely understand this. I want to be clear. I understand where you're coming from. And I think that if we want to solve these problems, these systemic issues, then we need to focus on the issues. So if we want to talk about thinness and how we are seeing a resurgence of the 1990s and the early 2000s type of fat phobia or anti-fat bias, that we want to have a conversation about the ways in which eating disorders and disordered eating behaviors are being re-normalized. If those are the conversations we want to have, I think we should have those conversations. I think those conversations are very important to be having. I also know that if I had to put myself in that person's shoes and I had to think about every single time I got on the internet, somebody was in my comments or making videos about me, and they were talking about my own recovery and how would that impact my recovery. When I take that intentional beat, I realize there are other more conducive and productive ways that we can have these conversations. And that is the critique. The critique is not that we're not allowed to talk about thin people, but we're allowed to talk about fat people. The critique is not we can't have this conversation. The critique is not somebody is in the public eye and therefore they have no responsibility whatsoever to any of the people that they are impressionable upon because they have made an agreement to celebrity to a degree. The critique is, can we have those conversations without naming specific people, without posting pictures of people with their faces on the public domain? Therapy, group therapy, the group chat, where everybody's already consented to having body talk conversations in a conducive manner, go right ahead, babe. We've been talking about it in my group chat, but we've been talking about it in the group chats, offline, in real life, in community. I think sometimes we get pulled in. The emotional, we get pulled in, we're tied in. That's okay. But that's also what it means to touch grass. Have these conversations and have them in these very unmasked, real ways, offline, or at least within non-public online displays. Put it in the Discord chat. Put it on the Patreon. You can still put stuff on Patreon for free, and it doesn't have to show up when somebody Googles their name. I am a small creator, and there are still some horrendous things that show up when I Google my name if I go far enough back. Think about any of those people you're thinking about, any of those people you've made videos about, any of those people whose bodies you've clipped to make these videos, so that it could get more views, so it could get more comments, so it can get more shares, so it can get more engagement. Yeah, it's our job, but we did say do no harm, no? We can be more intentional, y'all. That's the point.